Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're doing a video on anime and manga because you guys have been requesting it for literally years. Like, I've been planning to make this anime manga favorites video for ages and ages, but I keep putting it off because I have this big long list of anime and manga that I want to read and I know that I'll love, so I know they're going to go on the list. But I figured that if I don't film this video now, I'm probably never going to get to it, so I might as well just make my all-around anime and manga favorites list, and then later on I'll update it if I need to. So for now, these are my anime and manga favorites, just the general favorites that I've had over the course of my anime and manga consumey life. This is not a very long list. I think I only have 9-ish things on this list, but it is a list that's very important to me and I love the things that are on here. A lot of the things that are on here are quite normie and obvious, so I'm sorry if any of you are die-hard otaku anime watching people. I don't watch that much anime and manga, but I do have a small list of things that I love, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Number 1, we'll get all of the anime films out in one go. Mostly today I want to speak about predominantly serialized anime and manga, so I'm just going to talk about the anime films really quickly. So my anime film favorites are basically everything by Studio Ghibli and Makoto Shinkai. Makoto Shinkai is the guy who directed Your Name or Kimi no Na wa, which was really popular a couple years ago. I dare say you've heard of it. It's a brilliant film, go watch it, I love it. But he's also made Garden of Words, which is set in Shinjuku Gyoen Garden, which is a beautiful movie and the animation is just gorgeous. And also another one called 5 centimeters per second, which is beautiful as well. And then my favorite Ghibli films, again, are all of them. I love all of Studio Ghibli, but my absolute favorites are House Moving Castle, Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo, Spirited Away, Totoro, Princess Mononoke, and Ariete. Number 2, Nichijou. I absolutely adore this anime. It is so funny. Like, it's genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever watched. There's only 26 episodes in total and it aired in 2011, so it's really short, but it's sort of cut up into very small snippets of like gags and jokes. It's kind of slice of life-y, but it really contrasts the like mundane, boring bits of everyday life with these really absurd or funny or hilarious or unlucky things happening. So it's not like 100% realistic slice of life, but it very much has that tone to it. It basically follows these schoolgirls plus a little and adorable scientist and her robot, and they live in this town, and it's essentially chopped up into little snippets in each episode of different things happening, and it's just the most interesting structure and it's brilliant and I love it so much and it is so funny. I so recommend you guys going and watching it. Number 3, Mirai Nikki. This is one of the first anime I actually got into, which surprises me given how like hardcore and confronting it is, especially for me. This anime is brilliant, it's really engaging, and I thought the story was really good, but it's quite violent. Also particularly sexually violent. I will warn you guys about that before sending you off to watch it on my recommendation. There are themes like that in the anime, so be aware. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Probably I handled it really well because we watched the censored version, so anything that was really graphically violent, and I mean graphically violent, was mostly just censored with like the infamous like black boxes. Yeah, I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Basically the plot is there's a high school student named Yuki and he is given a future diary by the god of space and time. And essentially there are 11 other people who are also given future diaries, and they start this like Hunger Games battle royale style battle to all kill each other, and whoever is the last person left standing is the new god of space and time. The second main character in this anime is Yuno. She also has a future diary, but she's also obsessed with the main character. She's a bit creepy and stalkerish, so she decides to help him. If you haven't seen this anime before, you may actually recognize Yuno because she is often the poster girl for like the yandere character, basically like a female character who is really sweet and adorable one second and like terrifying and violent the next second. Number 4, Bakuman. I love this so much. It is a slice of life about 2 high school students who dream of becoming mangaka, so basically the people who create manga. It's a really simple premise, but it's so good, and it teaches you a lot about the manga industry and how things get serialized and how the markets work and all this stuff. It's clearly very allegorical because the boys are trying to submit to Weekly Shonen Jack, which is obviously an allegory for Weekly Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump is where like One Piece, One Punch Man, Boku no Hero Academia, Dragon Ball, all of those things have been published in. So there's a lot of like parallels, and it's quite, as far as I'm aware, quite realistic to what it's actually like trying to get serialized as a mangaka. But following the boys' journey and their coming of age is like really, really rewarding to watch. The pacing's a little bit slower on this one, and obviously it's not so action-packed, but it's a really, really cool story, and it's wonderful to see the two boys coming of age as they like strive towards their career goals, and it's just really, really good. There's also an adorable underlying romance plot in this manga, which I love so much. It's adorable. I did watch the anime for this one, and all of the ones that I've spoken about so far I've watched the anime for, but I do have a couple of volumes of the manga. I have one in English and one in Japanese. I figured it would be a good study resource. Probably not, given that it's manga and it's quite informal, but I love this manga / anime a lot. I think it's brilliant. The storytelling is just really, really good. Number 5, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, which is also called Your Lie in April. I am only halfway through this manga. I believe there's about 40 chapters, and I'm up to chapter 20. And I love it so freaking much. Like, I literally started reading it 2 days ago, and I'm including it on this list because I already know it's gonna be brilliant. It's about a really talented pianist named Kosei who is like this absolute prodigy when it comes to playing the piano, but because his mother dies when he's about 11 or 12, he stops being able to play. Essentially what happens is he can physically play the piano, but he can't hear the melody that's coming out anymore. So all of the notes and all of the sounds disappear, and he begins to lead this very, very colorless life because of how much his mother's death has impacted him. However, in the spring of his 14th year, he meets a really talented and beautiful violinist named Kaori. It's really difficult to say that name, Kaori. Kaori. Anyway, he meets Kaori and everything changes for him, and basically the plot follows on from there. So far it is so beautiful and I love it. The way the panels are drawn, the way the story has been told, just the way that they've developed the characters and the emotion of it. I've been so impressed, like using different fonts and just like a really interesting way to actually physically set out and also to convey music. Obviously it's a manga, you can't hear anything when you're reading. So the way they convey music is just freaking stunning and I love it. Number 6, Flying Witch. This is another anime that doesn't really have that many episodes. It had a really, really short run in terms of TV serialization, but it's really good. It's essentially a slice of life style anime about a young witch who at 15 leaves her home in Yokohama to go and live with her second cousins in Aomori. Aomori is apparently really, really brilliant for witches because there's a lot of nature around and like, magical things. So that's basically where she begins her witch training. This one is just a really beautiful, simple, peaceful anime to watch. Like, the pacing is really quite slow for this one. Like, not a lot happens very quickly, but it's just really, really calming and lovely and just adorable. Number 7, Himoto Umaru-chan. I know this anime gets a lot of shit from people because they think that it's really annoying and not funny and it just gets criticized a lot, but I love this anime and I think it's really good. Basically, Himoto Umaru-chan, or what is the English title? It's like My Annoying Sister Umaru. Okay, the title is kind of difficult to translate into English, but basically Himoto is like a play on words and the title is Dried Fish Little Sister. So like, kind of like annoying and lazy and worthless or whatever, but that is the title, and essentially it's about this girl who, she's a high school student, she's very, very beautiful and very smart, and she does everything perfectly, and from the outside she just looks like the perfect high schooler. But the second she gets home, she turns into a complete couch potato, like an absolute otaku nerd. She just eats a lot of junk food and plays a lot of video games and is super duper lazy. So the second she gets away from everyone, she turns into this adorable little blob, but that ends up with her brother doing all of the housework and all of the cooking and all of the domestic stuff because she's really, really quite lazy. I started watching this during a really rough time that I went through in university, so I found it super duper comforting, and maybe that's why I love this so much, that I used to just like come home from uni and just chill out and watch this anime and just be a couch potato myself. I think it's brilliant and I love it, and I think it's funny and cute, and it's just a really nice, sweet anime that I love so much. Number 8, Shingeki no Kyojin, otherwise named Attack on Titan. But also, yeah, I've watched the first season of this and I loved it. It's on this list because I loved it so much. The animation quality is outstanding, the story is outstanding. It's just the whole mystery behind the Titans and whatever is absolutely brilliant. But I'm still a little bit frustrated that it took like 3 or 4 years for the second season to come out. Like, I was waiting for such a long time, and I'm pretty sure I watched this really, really late. So I think it may have been more than 4 years for the second season to come out. But like, it left the first season with so many unanswered questions, so the fact that they left it such a long time in between the seasons was just really, really annoying. Granted, I should have just read the manga, so it's probably my own fault. But anyway, I've watched the first season, I love it. I do intend to watch the second season, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. Basically, the plot for this one I'm not going to harp on about because I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this before, but essentially it's like a post-apocalyptic anime where all of the humans are living in walled cities to protect them from the Kyojin, or Titans. Kyojin also means giant in Japanese, but this big, really, really scary monster people, and they're very violent and they hurt people. The main character is Eren, and he is basically a part of the Survey Corps trying to help protect people and battle against the Titans and everything. As I said, story is brilliant. I love it so much. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue going on in this one, and it's just really, really, really good. But I'm yet to watch the second season, so I really, really need to do that. But I love the first season so much that it is on my list of favorites. Number 9, and this is the very last one, and you can probably guess by the pop figure which has been sitting next to me for this entire video, but my favorite anime / manga of all time is One Piece. I know this is the most normie anime on this list. This is the most obvious one. If you're not aware, One Piece is like basically one of the most, or if not the most popular and successful anime / manga of all time, and it is my absolute favorite. At the time of filming this video, One Piece currently has 934 chapters. Okay, 934, and I am completely up to date with it. Like, I have invested so many hours into this anime. Basically, I started by watching the anime, and that's how I got through the big, massive bulk of One Piece. And then when we got to Dressrosa, and essentially I was all caught up with the anime, I started reading it from there. So I've been reading the manga for about 2.5 years or something like that. And yeah, it's just brilliant. The characterization, the storytelling, the foreshadowing, the planning, the structure are all absolutely amazing in this manga. Like, genuinely, I've come into contact with very few stories that do foreshadowing and structure this well. The world building in this is just absolutely spectacular. And I am so constantly impressed by the mangaka and how much information he's able to remember, and how many characters and recurring themes and like interesting stuff pops back up. Like, it's astounding to me that writing something this big over this massive amount of time, One Piece has been in serialization for over 20 years, how one person could contain all of that and do such an amazing job of it. Just an amazing story, and I care so much about these characters. Like, I have way too many pop finals of my favorite One Piece characters. I have cried too much over these characters. I'm way too invested. Like, I swear to God, there have been multiple times I've sat on my couch bawling my eyes out because something has happened to someone and I'm just like, I can't handle it. But basically, if you don't know the plot, there is a young man named Luffy who aspires to be the pirate king of this particular world. He gets together a group of people who become his crew and they set sail to find the legendary treasure of One Piece. The first person who finds this treasure will become the Pirate King. I would so recommend you guys check it out, but I know it's a really tall ask. Like, I can tell you to go watch Flying Witch because it only has 25 episodes, but One Piece currently has 934 chapters, so totally recommend you go watch it. You can substitute some of the really big arcs for the movies that they've made, which make them basically like abridged versions, so you can skip ahead in a couple cheeky little ways, but if you want to go read it, I totally recommend it, but just take your time because it is a long haul to get through that much content. And that's it. Those are my favorite anime and manga so far. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any anime or manga recommendations, I would so love to hear them, so please put them in the comment section down below. I will see you guys next week. Take care. Bye.